Welcome to Let's Make Cake. I'm your host, Michelle Pyle, and we are here to kick depression and anxiety and make a new life. That is something I did for myself. So I want to talk about all the things I did to get better and share that with you guys in case it helps you too. So today I really wanted to talk about okay, if you are currently struggling with depression, which is a really scary place to be, and I've been there and I know how hard it is. So I wanted to give you like 5 tangible things you could start doing or do this weekend to start to help you feel better and to alleviate some of those symptoms of depression and get on your way, out of depression ultimately. These are 5 things you would want to do continuously, but at least something you could start this weekend. So I just wanted to give you 5 tangible things. I'm not including therapy and medication because those are two that are talked about all the time. We all know, right? Therapy and medication are probably the two most used tools to overcome depression. So I wanted to give you something else. So let's get started. So, the first one, and probably everyone's least favorite, is exercise. And it just is annoying, but exercise will alleviate symptoms of depression. It has been proven again and again and again. It worked for me. I still use it today to, prevent depression. It also helps me manage, stress and life, struggles that, of course, are going to keep coming up as we continue living. It's unavoidable. But yeah, exercise will 100% help. And it may not be the cure, it probably isn't, but it will absolutely, as you do it continuously, you will start to notice a difference if you exercise. The hardest thing, right, is probably getting yourself to exercise, especially if you're experiencing bad depression, because you have no energy, you have no motivation, right? All that stuff is like just left to you. And so one thing that I did was like I tried to trick myself a little bit. And so I just pretended I was like, okay, yes, depression has these very real like physical side effects, right? Where you have no energy and you have no motivation, you have anxiety coupled with that, so you're not going to like want to go exercise. So I just was like, okay, pretend that you got into like a bad accident, like a car accident or something, and you have to learn to walk again. And you would go to physical therapy and it would be very difficult. It would be painful. It would be discouraging. So it's kind of all the similar like mental and physical challenges, right, that you have to overcome. So I was like, just pretend that that's what's happening. And so despite like how hard it is, like you still have to do it. And so that's a little trick I played with myself to get me to exercise. So maybe you can come up with something for yourself, but you have to kind of overcome, right, that like the very real feelings of like fatigue and lack of motivation and all of that stuff. And you have to like get yourself to exercise. And you can start as small as you need to. You don't have to, start training for a marathon or join a gym or anything like that. There's tons of videos online, so you can even do something at home. There are like Tai Chi videos, which I think are really cool. There are aerobics videos. I've also at times just danced. So I like turn the lights off and like turn music on. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to dance for like 20 minutes or whatever. Like you really just have to find something that you can do because this is a physiological thing, right? So the reason that all these studies demonstrate that exercise helps with depression is because you're kickstarting all these processes in your body that are going to help alleviate the symptoms of depression. So the science is there. You can't really argue against it because they have proven this again and again and again. So trust that this will help. And even if you find it annoying and you don't want to do it, like argue with yourself a little bit to get past that because it will absolutely help you. No, I don't think it's a cure for most of us, but it 100% will help to some degree. So it will be worth it. And like I said, I still exercise today to prevent, right, depression. It's kind of like my number one bad mood preventer. So I highly encourage you to embrace exercise and get over whatever resistance you have to exercise, because it will help you. So that's number one, is exercise. So number two is this journaling exercise that I learned about, and I did it every day for, I don't know, like probably a year. And I learned about it. I want to show you the video. So I'm going to jump over here to the internet and show you this this guy who's talking, and this is how I learned about it. So I just want to go right to the source of how this journaling exercise can work. So let me jump over here, see if I can, and hit play here. And
I'm about to tell you an exercise. When I tell you an exercise that works, it means it's been through random assignment, placebo-controlled testing, so it actually works. So here's one. Every night for the next week, this is your assignment. Write down 3 things that went well today and why they went well. Turns out 6 months later, if you start to do that, you statistically have less depression, less anxiety, and higher life satisfaction. And importantly, it's addicting, that people like doing positive psychology exercises. Unlike psychotherapy, in psychotherapy, how many of you are psychotherapists? One of the dirty little secrets of I've been a psychotherapist most of my life. One of the dirty little secrets is that when we teach a patient something, its effectiveness is measured by how long it stays before it melts to zero. So for the most part, what we teach in psychotherapy and our pharmacology goes away in time. Positive psychology exercises are self-reinforcing. So that's the first one, P.
Okay, so let me jump back here to our screen. So I just think that's so cool. This positive psychology, that if you go to positivepsychology.com, there's so much there, but this is how I discovered this. So just to reiterate what he said, is every day you write down 3 things that went well today and why. And I started doing this. I actually did it in the morning for the previous day, but you could also do it at night. And yeah, it is amazing how it will make your mind start to focus on good things that did happen, good things you're doing for yourself, and changes you're making. Especially when we are experiencing depression, where our minds are so focused on the negative and everything that's going wrong, that this forces you to notice the positive. And it really is incredible. It totally works. It seems like it shouldn't help because it's so simple and it seems silly, but it absolutely works. I did it. I highly encourage you to start this immediately and do it for, at least 6 weeks. And like he said, you want to keep doing it because it feels good. And so that's also really great. But yeah, and so 3 things that went well and why. And the why is important because you'll start to see, like, what are the things that I value that when I do them, they make me feel really good. And so you might discover things about yourself, which is also great. Like, oh, when I do this thing, it actually makes me feel amazing. So I'm going to continue doing that thing. So it's simple, really simple, but powerful, totally works, totally helps. So yeah, I highly, highly encourage you to do that as well. Okay, so moving on to the third thing is doing a core beliefs mantra. So I have another video where I talk about core beliefs more in depth, but this is basically just, we have these beliefs about ourselves or about others or the world around us that kind of, if they're negative, can create these negative ways of interacting with the world and feeling about ourselves, and they really can derail us from making progress So it's important to reorient our beliefs the negative beliefs we might have about ourselves into more positive beliefs. So doing it as a mantra is just a great way where you don't have to do all the psychotherapy work, but you can just start to change a negative core belief you might have about yourself through repetition, right? So a mantra is just repetition, basically. So what I did was I had selected three positive core beliefs that I wanted to start to integrate into my belief system. And 3 times a day, I would say each one 3 times. So it's 3 by 3 by 3. So it helps sometimes to have those little systems. But you could also just have a sticky note on your mirror, and maybe you tell yourself, okay, every time I'm looking in the mirror, in this mirror, I'll say it. But what you want to have repetition, right? That's what makes a mantra effective is you're repeating, repeating, repeating. And so I've got a couple examples here, but you can go online. There's a ton of examples, but I just want to give you a few. These are ones that I had used. I am enough. I believe in me. I matter. I am worthy. I belong, right? These are pretty straightforward and simple. You can also get creative and have longer mantras, though these are going to be maybe harder to remember, so you might have to write them down. But I have strengths and I can learn from my mistakes. I have the power to make positive changes in my life. I can build positive relationships. My voice matters. I deserve love and respect. So you're going to want to choose, right? These are so you probably have the negative, whatever negative core belief you want to convert it to a positive. And that's what you want your mantra to be. So you can go online. If you just Google core beliefs there, it's easier to find the negative examples, which I wish it was easier to find the positive, because the positive is the mantra that you need to develop. But yeah, find like 3 that resonate with you, where you're like, yeah, I have really negative feelings about, what maybe you feel like I'm a failure, or I don't belong, or nobody likes me, or, there's a bunch of negative beliefs we can have. And then you want to convert that into a positive belief. And then that becomes your mantra that you want to, commit to repeating for a certain amount of time, a certain number of times a day. And you're just trying to retrain your automatic thought system to have new and better automatic thoughts. And that's where the mantra concept comes in, is like we're trying to retrain sort of that automatic thought system that we have. There's also this, I'll jump back over here, and I'll provide a link. I thought this was a really interesting website that talks about core beliefs. Sorry, let me jump out of here. So I'd never been on this site before. I just found it when I was Googling stuff, but I'll provide a link to this because I actually think this is really great. It provides like an overview of core beliefs, how to change unhelpful core beliefs. And I just think it does a really good job of laying them out, like where do they come from? Why do I have these? And so really just learning about this whole core belief system. So this is just a great site. So I'll provide a link. She did a really, or he, probably she, but did a great job kind of outlining it. But for yourself, you want to commit, right? So we're taking action, right? So we've got exercise, we've got doing the 3 things that went well today and why, journaling, and then you want to have a core belief mantra that you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do this for the next 3 weeks, right? And just start to see how it can change some of those automatic thoughts that you have that are really not helping. And we want to start to retrain those and reframe these negative core beliefs that we have about ourselves, because they're affecting how we interact with the world. They affect our relationships, how we show up in relationships, how we manage conflicts, everything. So it's super, super important. Okay, so the fourth thing, and this one is probably the easiest, so yay, an easy one, is to use music. So I am a big, big believer in the power of music to help us. No, it's not a cure for depression, but when you are having those, really low moments and you can't always think your way out of everything, music is super, super, super helpful. So I actually use it before I record these videos because I used to get really bad anxiety and I still get nervous. And so I have a song that I play and I put it on and it kind of just calms me down and instills like a sense of confidence in me. But say like for you, if maybe when you wake up in the morning, you wake up and you're already like, ugh, right? Like, I can't do this. I don't want to be here. You could lay in bed and have those thoughts or put on a playlist and come up with something that's going to snap you out of it and just kind of energize you to get out of bed and, do even the most basic thing, like eat breakfast or something. But you really want to, the power of music, it is so important in helping change our moods. Again, that's not going to cure depression, but when you can have little glimmers and little moments in your day where your mood can be improved, even if it's temporary, that is huge, right? It's those little, if we just get a little bit of, I can do this, right? So maybe you're trying to exercise, you might want to put on a playlist that helps motivate you to exercise, right? Or if you're having trouble maybe with self-care and like, showering or cleaning, like use music to help motivate you because it can change your mood. I mean, I think we've all experienced how music can alter our state of mind and our mood. So yeah, if you're depressed, part of that is mood and state of mind. So of course, music can help you, even if it's just temporary and in that moment. But then we can like connect those moments together and start to feel better. So use music. That's number 4. And then number 5 is a little more involved. So this is a learning assignment. But I do think when we start to learn, we can feel empowered and we can start to feel like, okay, maybe I can overcome, right, depression. I really think it's so important to just learn about all of this and the different theories and what therapists use. And fortunately, there are organizations out there and all kinds of YouTube channels where you can start to learn and empower yourself. So this one is starting to learn about thought distortions or distorted thoughts. I think in where I'm going to show you, they call it even something else. But it's this, we have these negative thoughts and we just take them as true. We don't think to question or ask, is this right? Or maybe this thought I'm having isn't accurate. And so this is just a great way to start learning about how our brains work and why we have these negative thoughts that all humans do, right? And I think that's important. This isn't just people with depression and anxiety. Everyone experiences these patterns of thinking that aren't helpful. When we have depression, it's just like 100 times worse. So let me jump over there so we can start to look at this stuff together here. So I'll provide a link to this, but I really would encourage you to come to this website. So this is positivepsychology.com. And I'll reference this a lot because I think they're amazing. And I love the concept of positive psychology. But they call it cognitive distortions, but you'll also see it referred to as thought distortions or distorted thoughts. But it's basically just we have automatic thoughts that we need to challenge because we're wrong sometimes. I know we don't like to think that, but we are. So this just walks you through, like where it comes from, why we have them, how it affects our mental health. And then it actually organizes it into different types. And you'll see this, this is all over the internet, but like all or nothing thinking or black and white thinking, right? I cheated on my diet, so I might as well eat whatever I want the rest of the week, right? These are like defeating thoughts that we have. Mind reading or jumping to conclusions. I think we all do that. Should statements, right? So it just walks you through all these different examples that I think is really great. And then there's this great video in here. So let me scroll down. Where she does a really good job of introducing like what this is and how it affects, the way we interact with our world. And that basically, I always like to say like depression lies to you like all the time, all day. And so you have to start recognizing that that's happening, and you have to start kind of rejecting those lies and or seeing that they're lies. They call them thought distortions, but we have these thoughts that aren't helpful, that aren't accurate, and we have to start challenging them. So in order to do that, it helps to just know like what the heck are these things. And I think it's important to remember we all experience this, right? Every human has thoughts that aren't helpful or accurate. This is just what we do. It's a way to protect ourselves. And, there's a lot of reasons why we developed this way. But with depression and anxiety, it's that times like 100. And that's the problem, is like, you're never going to get rid of these distorted thoughts, but you want to bring it down to like a 10, where you are able then to function in relationships and with the world. And so number 5 is to just start learning about it. So you don't have to start evaluating your thoughts yet or doing any of that work. Although if you are ready to jump into that, that's great. And a therapist can help you with that 100%. But I think it's really important too, just to start to become aware that this is even happening. And so I think learning is super important, because you will start to feel more like in control, or that you are taking steps to get better. So that one is huge, and you can just go to that website. I'll provide a link and just read. There's a lot of information there, and watch the video. It's super helpful. And I talk about thought distortions a lot in the cake program, and I'll talk about them here on this video. But today I just wanted to give you like, what are 5 things I could start doing, if I'm struggling with depression. So exercise, start journaling every day. And it's really short, which is nice, but 3 things that went well and why. And that will start to reorient your focus around positive things. A core belief mantra. So start to reshape some of your negative core beliefs by using a positive core belief mantra. And that's just something you're going to repeat daily and, more than once throughout the day. Use music. Right? So if you have like critical moments throughout the day that you struggle more with, or you're trying to make changes and you need some motivation, use music to help you, change your mood and change your state of mind and change your physiology, and like start to create that energy by using music. And then the 5th one is to go to the positive psychology website and start to learn about cognitive distortions or thought distortions. They're also called distorted thoughts. So you'll see all 3 of those if you like go on the internet or talk to therapists, cognitive behavioral therapists. So these are 5 things that I've done that have helped me. They're tangible. They're something you can start doing and start to see results. And I always talk about the process of getting over depression. We want that one thing that's just going to make it go away. And And unfortunately, that's, at least I've found that's not how it works, that it's a lot of little things that we put together, we do them consistently, and over time we start to feel better. So, like with the exercise, the research usually talks about like 6 weeks. But you'll start to notice changes after 1 week. You don't have to wait for the 6 weeks, but even after 1 week, you'll start to notice an improvement. And it's each week it gets better and better and better. And I would say it's with all these tools, that's the case, right? So you know, don't give up immediately, especially because this stuff is hard. Overcoming depression is not easy and it's going to take time. So you want to be patient with yourself and be patient with the tools, that you decide to use. Maybe it's, only one of these and then you're already doing 3 other things, but you want to put these small things together and do them consistently and give it a chance. And yeah, this is how we can start to overcome depression and anxiety. So I hope this was helpful. I just was thinking, it's good to have sometimes like, what can I do to help myself today? Because I think there are times, especially going into the weekends, I know weekends were always super hard for me. So these are things that you can do for yourself to start to feel better. So you've got this. I overcame depression and against all odds because I really struggled with it for a long time. So I do know that it's possible, and I believe in you, and I believe you can overcome this as well. And so, yeah, just keep fighting and don't give up. And there's so many things we can do to get better. So I just wanted to give you some examples. But yeah, find what you are interested in, right? If these aren't your cup of tea, there's plenty of stuff out there that you can try. The point is to find the things and try them and give them a chance. And yeah, that's kind of how it works. So anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. I will be back on Monday. Really appreciate you being here. And again, you can find more at letsmakecake.org. So thanks, guys.